I'd like to prime you on what this video is and what this video isn't. This video is not about strategies on how to find a boyfriend or girlfriend, but rather this video is about how to make better decisions, how to be more aware on what are areas to self-improve. Today we'll be discussing this very viral video on CNA INSIDER, which is actually a story by this producer lady who put herself to the test to find a boyfriend. Her name is Shermin, and the story goes like this. She narrated a story that Singapore faces declining birth rates and stuff. Many government policies encourage couples to get married, and she embarks on this journey to find herself a boyfriend. In her initial assessment, she's looking for someone tall, looking for someone pleasant looking and have good hygiene. She put herself up with a first image of herself holding a basketball. And there she goes onto the online apps to find a boyfriend. She embarks on this journey, and very soon she gets to this reality of being ghosted. Which means, quite simply, if you're not in the younger generation, you text people see the message and don't reply further. They might even block you. She's not too picky on who to go on dates with, but instead faces the reality of being let down by the dates she's supposed to meet. Some of them keep postponing, some of them come late. This in particular came 20 minutes late. The other guy rescheduled at the last very moment. But that's not the end of the problem. She's also been on terrible dates. One of which is a guy who spoke for 50 minutes to an hour non-stop, all about his life story. And if you have come across anyone like that, you know how irritating it is. Now, on the point of guys being late for dates, to me, that should never happen. I meet more new people than most of you guys listening in because I'm in sales. In sales, I meet a new prospect. It's a new first impression that I need to make, and you can bet that I'm never 20 minutes late. That is not professional. That is not a good first impression that I'll allow myself to put on anyone. Regardless of who that is, I'm definitely on time if it's a work meeting. And for guys who are trying to find a partner on apps, and if they're serious, they shouldn't be 20 minutes late. I mean, guys, what are you busy with? Playing games? Not acceptable. So if you are on the apps hoping to find a date, please put yourself there correctly and respect people's time. I think that's the most basic of things. And you have to also understand, high value guys understand time. So if you fail to turn up at dates, I can also guess you are probably missing out on your company deadlines. You probably fail at interviews anyway. So if you have that tendency as a guy, make sure you change that approach. But in the image just now, you realize that Shermin, who's this lady in discussion, is trying to stipulate what her ideal partner is. Tall, looks like Johnny Depp, pleasant looking, good hygiene, etc, etc. Everybody would like to place criteria, correct, on what we are looking for. It's like buying a new house. You want freehold, you want new, you want less than $1 million yet very big, etc, etc. With a 1 million budget, you want a freehold property that's big. It's not going to happen, correct? Same problem also exists when you are thinking about renovation. You want this, you want that, you want a chandelier, but when it comes to budget, you are not willing to fork out what it takes. When it comes to the space needed in the living room, you don't have it, but you imagine and you want to force something upon it. So the point I'm getting at is, most of the time when we are starting out, we don't really know what we want. We may actually know what we don't want, so that's easier to stipulate down. And as I can see from her criteria list, someone who is 30 to 40 years old, is that really necessary? Because, as we were to discover in the subsequent parts of this video, she's looking for someone to settle down with. And that guy, if he's at the age of 28 and ready to settle down, is actually technically okay also. Or an older guy, say 42 or 45, who is a divorcee, who's a widow, but willing to settle down. Isn't he also a possible good boyfriend to find? So that's why it's better to look for values. To look for, in her case, readiness to settle down. These cannot be changed. A lot of which, it's ingrained from young. Looks-wise, as you'll discover, is very easy to change. But values and readiness to settle down, these are things that cannot be taught. And maybe for her case, it's better to filter than think about age and think about height and think about intelligence level. Let's continue on with the story. After going for some dates, she decides to seek more advice from friends, family, and experts. One friend suggested that she should try to go on as many dates as possible. One expert suggested that she should not be too picky. Her colleagues at work suggested that she should be kissing more frogs in hopes of finding the prince. Another expert suggested that she should take her time And think about the strategy on how to filter out for the one. He used an analogy of looking at a haystack, and instead of digging through each and every one of them, think through your criteria list to filter down effectively. Coming to this point, if you're also in management level, you've hired before people, I guess you'll kind of agree with me that hiring someone without being picky has almost never worked, correct? Most of the time, we need to slow down. Most of the time, we need to look through the resume. Most of the time, we need to think through our criteria first before we can find the right candidate. I think that applies also to finding boyfriend or girlfriend. So that's why I don't quite agree with going on as many dates as you can. I'm much preferring the expert that suggested that you should slow down. You should think through a criteria so that you can build up more energy to find success quickly when you meet someone that possibly fits quite a few items on your criteria list. The key word again is build up success quickly. That is my personal view because I believe that a romantic relationship needs a spark. And when you have a spark, you should fan on it quickly. If you fan it slowly, the spark might even evaporate. Again, that's my point of view. If you disagree or agree, leave in the comment sections. As always, if you enjoyed this discussion, smash the like button, smash the subscribe, and let me know if there are other topics like these that you'd like to hear or that you'd like to hear a different point of view on. Let's move on further. Shermin next meets an expert that is on physical appearance. The expert suggested that she should do some prep work on her looks first. And that's where she realized that packaging may actually be important to finding a boyfriend. It's not just the inner beauty, it is more than that. Her newest profile is approved by a dating CEO, which definitely looks way better than where she started. Coming to this point on packaging, the important part is if you think packaging is not important, or I think you are putting blame on others where you can't find success, there's definitely certain use in packaging. Packaging shows an effort level, correct? Effort is telling the other party that you are working hard to impress. And if you can't really do that, you prefer to stick in your comfort zone, then the odds of getting a good outcome is diminished. Packaging yourself not only works to ladies. Guys, if you are hearing this, looking for a partner, don't be lazy also. If a lady can go for a makeover, a guy can also do so. Put in some effort, be coachable, and take responsibility in your own packaging. But the biggest bomb to share with you is effort is actually the easiest to be coachable, to improve on, correct? What is more difficult is personality, is communication skills. This guy that talked to her for 50 minutes and bore her out so badly? This is an example of poor communication skills, poor ability to build relationship. I watched this show, How I Met Your Mother, and there's actually an episode whereby a lady keep talking. I think her name is Kathy, and Ted Mosby's friends all hated her. She definitely looks pretty, but as you can realize, it's not a good partner to have. So the question again is, are you willing to take criticism to improve, not just on looks, but also improve on personality, improve on communication skills, and believe that everything is coachable and everything can be improved? Shermin, through this experiment, has demonstrated she's willing to take advice. Hopefully her story inspires, and let's continue on in her story. She's gone on further dates, one with this guy Rish, the other with this guy Jay. And take note again, if you have watched this entire episode, Jay is her 31st date. If you don't know what I'm talking about, once you watch the entire series, you kind of realize that Jay again is the 31st date. She's also gone on a date with Ryan, who eventually became her top pick. She texted him a lot more than the others, but eventually the thing died down. When she wanted to reignite that, Ryan simply said, "All's good, let's meet, we need to talk." Actually, we need to talk is always something bad. No need to meet, I kind of can guess what's going to happen already. As expected, she is left with bad news that he doesn't want to progress further to build a romantic relationship. Knowing that her first pick turned her down and that she's wasted so much effort really brought her to tears. This is a point where she considered about giving up, but thankfully, if you've watched the entire series, she merely slowed down and rethink her own process. And that's where we should discuss a bit further. This is an important part in life, or rather an important part of succeeding in life, which is the ability to deal with rejection. Why so, you may think? Rejection is an awful feeling. It's a sign that what you wanted couldn't come true. The suffering is emotional. But I'd like to share with you this point to think about. If you suffer through rejection, at least the outcome can be resilience. You build resilience. You understand this is not going to kill you. This is not going to define you. In fact, this can tell you important lessons on where you need to improve. If you are unwilling to go through rejection and avoid it, you would realize that you have to suffer the feeling of what if. What if I've succeeded in finding someone? What if I've succeeded in this business? What if I've succeeded in getting this job? Etc. and etc. Again, the important lesson to life is, if you have to suffer through rejection, at least the outcome is resilience. It stings only for a while. Through this process, you realize you'll be sharper at seeing red flags. You'll be better at anticipating need. And that's why most of the time, if you can get past this phase, you will see success. Keep that in mind. Hopefully that inspires some of you who need this message, which rounds up the first episode. I won't give away the second episode. Go and watch it. I think it's a fantastic series. I even congratulated Shermin on LinkedIn. And as always, if you'd like to link up with me, look for my profiles on LinkedIn. And I'd like to round up key points. Ladies, not all guys out there are tall and have good income. You realize this is a common ask, which means the pool of guys available in this criteria is not that big. So instead, filter for someone who is willing to grow, someone who is responsible also. Test for that. Because most likely they'll be a good companion, they'll be a good father to your children. Guys, a lady who is beautiful, like what you have on your own Instagram feed, is not likely going to be inexperienced. Beautiful and inexperienced does not exist. If she's beautiful, she'll most likely have been courted before in secondary school, poly, JC, you name it. Instead, if you want a committed relationship, find someone who is equally attractive or grow to become someone that can be equally attractive. Look for someone who is willing to take care of you and is respectful to your family. She will likely be a good companion. She will likely be a good mother to your children. These are my final words from this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, smash the like button and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.